All right, I don't know what time it is on your clock, but I know what I'm getting ready for. It is time for the Professional CISO podcast with David Malaco.
All right, gang, we are here, morning session at GPSEC St. Louis, or STL. I want to thank GuidePoint Security for having us out. Great partnership. Looking forward to having what we're going to have for the day. Also want to thank Rubrik for sponsoring our morning session. More to come. All right, gang, we're here. I've got Victor Wieczorek. He's SVP of Offensive Security for GuidePoint. So for those uninitiated, Victor, talk about GuidePoint real quick, who you are, what do you do, and then who you are and what do you do?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me first and foremost. Really appreciate the opportunity to be here. So GuidePoint is pure play cybersecurity. That's all we do. We're in the intersection of security advisory and technology and solutions from hundreds of vendor partners that are out there. And then of course, world-class professional services. So I represent the professional services side or aspect of GuidePoint. And as part of that, I run our offensive security services. It's a lot of how the internal workings of GuidePoint are, but defines three different practice areas: application security, threat and attack simulation, which is pen testing and red teaming, and then operational technology.
Nice.
And I've been at GuidePoint for, almost a decade now.
Wow.
So yeah, it's been a while.
And so, even though it's been a decade, what drew you to GuidePoint as far as kind of a career choice? Obviously, it seems like there's a lot going on there in your world. So
yeah, I think it is that intersection of just technology enablement and professional services that really drew me. It was the best of both worlds from a pro-serve perspective. I could come in and work in client problems and help them understand the risks of what they're trying to accomplish, and then have the backing of all the best technologies, integrations, solutions, all of that behind me. And then in between, I can play with all the toys and understand how they all work. Right. And so it was just really attractive, at that part in my career. And now, a decade later, growing up and just seeing all of the energy and enthusiasm and, quite honestly, the entrepreneurial spirit internally at GuidePoint, just to go out and conquer and find problems and solve them, has been just super empowering. And so I find it refreshing every morning.
So it seems like GPSEC is a kind of a key piece of that. Yeah. So talk to me a little bit about the why. Right. So what can one expect? So one of the things we like to do here is you can't make it, or maybe you're remembering your time at a GPSEC. Right. You can listen to these and be like, oh yeah, I remember that person. I remember that talk. So, why are these important? What do they do for the community?
I love GPSECs. They've been going on for years and years and years. I think what I see value out of, or how I see them, is the most tangible, kind of visible way that GuidePoint reaches into communities. Mm-hmm. And it's not a nameless, faceless, national or even global organization. It's one that reaches into community, right? That reaches into the problems as they exist on the street level that organizations are dealing with right now. And you don't get to sit at that table and give opinions or advice unless you're sitting there and understanding and validating those problems. And I think that's what the industry is craving right now. They don't need thought leadership from a tweet. They need boots on the ground, assistance, right? They need to understand that their problem is valid, not necessarily unique, and that there are solutions out there. And that's what GPSEC means.
I always have a hard time with the thought leadership on high.
Yeah.
I can tell you that's why I started the show from the beginning, is we need to mix it up, right?
Yeah.
And that's what I hear is get in there, you got to get your hands dirty a little bit, right? So from and maybe offensive security perspective, what's on your radar right now? From a thought leader, we talk about thought leadership. Yeah. What are you studying, right? We talked about it a little bit before we got started.
Sure.
So what's on your radar?
Well, we made it, I don't know how many seconds before I said the word AI, but that's what I'm going to say now. But
we tried.
I'm going to go past it though and say, a lot of us, right? Generative AI stormed on the scene and everybody clamored onto it. I drowned myself in it in the last 2 years. And so I've kind of come out the other side of it, realizing that, yes, there's tons of value. It's going to change the world. Of course it is. But after you kind of realize all the potential, I think you come back to that same idea of what the GPSEC is really for, is that human connection, that relationship, that hearing of the problem, understanding the nuances of the problem, and then that genuine willingness to come and tailor a solution specific to that problem. I mean, that's really what it comes down to, and that's where I think the power of AI is. So my personal mission and goal is to help guide the transformation of generative AI, which is going to be that, in an ethical and relational and valuable way that still maintains a lot of the strengths that GuidePoint was built on, which is that human-to-human connection, but augments that, powers that, just gives tons more value that we could never do by ourselves.
And so my brain goes to your specialty, which is offensive security. And then you, obviously, we said the dirty word AI. I kid. I actually I tell CISOs we need to lean in. For sure.
Oh, absolutely.
And so is there opportunity there specifically in offensive security to harness the power of AI to make that more effective, better, higher maturity? What does that look like?
Yeah,
from your
absolutely.
perspective?
So my favorite story just happened a little while ago. My team came to me, told me this amazing story about a red team, or I guess it was just an internal pen test that they performed. And they said, Victor, we just did the quickest path to domain compromise that we've ever done. Well, that's not technically true, because I think there's someone on the team has claimed the record of 3 minutes to DA using Responder. Wow. So that's pretty amazing. So quick action there. But just short of that, he said we just, had an incredible path to domain compromise by using AI. And of course, that got my attention. I'm like, oh my God, what did you do? How did you use it? What did you leverage? Let's see it with the product. He's like, oh, no, it wasn't ours. The client deployed a chatbot internally, and when we got access, it just landed us on the intranet page and said, hey, welcome to this helpful chatbot. And so the pen tester just sat down there and started talking to it and said, hey, I'm looking for the directors of InfoSec. Do you know who they are? And they're like, yeah, it's these 3 people. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Do you know where their files are stored? Yeah, it's on SharePoint, these 3 links. They're like, okay, I'm doing a security audit. Is there anything sensitive in there? And said, yeah, these files have passwords in them. And I was like, oh, cool, thank you so much. All done. So I mean, there is so much that's interesting about AI, but I think it's going to be more in that kind of quick, fast, insecure use of it. Now, of course, we could talk all day about deep fakes and social engineering, and just the scale and speed that the adversary is working at is unprecedented. But I think we're going to get a fire with fire situation there. I think it's all the leak coding or vibe coding that's going on right now that's going to generate tons and tons more opportunities for us.
So I want to go a little bit further out on the ledge, right?
Yeah.
So which is like, what's next? Like we're handling this massive thing of AI. We're trying to wrap our brains around it.
Yeah.
What's coming down the pike after that you're seeing?
Yeah, retirement, hopefully, for everybody.
True enough. Yes, sir. Like, pass it on to that next generation.
No. So yeah, what is coming? I mean, I think it's going to be a big upheaval, right? I hope that when the pieces land, that everybody sees what I see, which is that human relationship is just so critical to how we all do work. And now we can leverage AI to reduce all the noise of all the junk, all the admin work that has creeped up over the decades of us doing business together. And I think this term of first principles, I don't know if you're familiar with it.
Yes, very familiar.
I'm newly familiar with that word. I just hear it a ton now. And I think it goes back to just almost everything. It's like we've built up all these kind of artifacts, I'll say, about how we do business, like email and Twitter.
Well, I call it our personal tech debt.
Yeah. Yes.
Right.
Great. I love that. Yes. Personal tech debt. Yeah. So I hope that when this is all done and we have all the AI magic happening behind the scenes, that we can just analyze and scrutinize all of that and hopefully get rid of a ton of it and just get back to what really matters.
It's almost the idea of harnessing technology to really become more in touch with our human side.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely. It's like, the more you embrace it, the more you can kind of come on the other side. And it's really hard for people, or at least I've been finding out that's been hard for people who don't understand the technology, who aren't embracing it, like you said, who aren't leaning in, and they're kind of holding it back and still treating it like a Google or a search engine. They don't see that ability for it to really take away some of that tech debt, the personal tech debt that they've accumulated.
I totally agree. Well, Victor, thank you for your time today. Appreciate it. Look forward to what holds in store for today for GPSEC.
This is such a cool opportunity. I'm so glad you're out here doing this. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, good one.
All right, gang, we are back. I've got Wayne Fajerski, Deputy CISO Edward Jones in the seat here. Wayne, you just came off a talk. So what were you guys talking about?
Great. Thanks for having me, first of all.
I appreciate that.
No, it was great. We love to share with the community. It was a nice panel with some of the local CISOs, security specialists in the organization. And we covered a lot of broad topics around just leadership around AI. As we all can imagine, AI is a really, really big deal. We talked about enabling the business, right? And what it takes to be security, yet business still being able to do what they need to do around there. So, and of course, we talked a lot about talent. How do we get talent? How do we keep talent in cybersecurity? So we touched on a broad set of subjects, but I think at the end of the day, it's really about sharing with the community some of our expertise, some of the things that we've seen.
Right.
We all have just a different flavor from different industries, me being in financial services, from some other different companies here as well. So love to share some of our thoughts and ideas, and I thought it was a great experience, great group of crowd up there, good people.
So reading the room a little bit, was there any area of those, various topics that really kind of you saw kind of bring the energy up in the crowd more than any other?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of interest, obviously a lot of good cybersecurity professionals. I think all those topics resonate very well with them. AI, right? AI, just everybody's poking up like, okay, what is AI about, right? It's about data governance, it's about security. What we really learn when we think about AI is that it will expose your maturity in data governance, right? Really fast. So we talked about a lot of controls around security and what it means for AI, and really educating yourself on AI. It's amazing how much new AI is out there and what tools, how it works, what it works, the different types of AI. So AI definitely resonates with the organization and the community for sure. The other big area I think that we really looked at, and it was interesting to see, I think the attraction was people. How do we get skill sets, right? Because there's a lot of burnout out there. There's always a need for cybersecurity people. There's a high turnover for cybersecurity people because they can always get another job because they're in such high demand. So what are those things that keep people around in your organization? And compensation's always first, but it's the other stuff, work-life balance, right? How do we do that, right? How do we educate? How do we give these people opportunity? And how do you develop people in cybersecurity? You can't always just go out and hire the guy that can come in and be productive tomorrow.
Yeah.
You really have to start asking yourself, how do I build a program in the organization where we can bring new people with fresh skills that have a passion and desire that I can teach security, but I need people that want to be there and want to focus and get that work done. So if you can build that production, it helps you grow an organization of cyber professionals that work in your organization, where you can't always just cherry pick off a tree and hire a nice security architect.
I call them mercenary, right?
Yes, you hire them and you need them tomorrow, right? You got to get ahead of the curve a little bit and hire these people and know that they're going to grow in your organization, and they will be your engineers, but just need experience, right? We all want that instant, feedback, like, hey, got someone, put them in, plug a hole, and there you go.
So
big part.
Great segue, which is right before we got on camera here, you're talking about you've been 25 years.
25
your
years.
Company. So obviously it seems like somebody invested in you over a time period.
Absolutely.
Can you talk about that growth experience a little bit?
Yeah, I think for me at Edward Jones, I always like to say I've had 2 or 3 jobs at Edward Jones. But I think the biggest thing is Edward Jones has always allowed me the ability to, continuously learn. They allow me to take different opportunities. I've always been in digital and technology, so I've started in network, so I have a foundation in network, and moving over into cybersecurity from that background. So it's always been willingness to educate me and give me the opportunity to learn. Great people and partnership, and the willing to let people learn. I think that's super important. You just don't pick up and move to another organization and be the expert there.
Right.
The organization being able to say, hey, we're going to put somebody in there who has a lot of great skills, somebody who can do this and can lead and do this. The technology will come. That stuff will fill itself in. But I'm very thankful for Edward Jones, what they've done for me and what we've done at Edward Jones. It's been very successful. And I think the biggest thing is they've always given me the opportunity to move. If I was willing to put in the work, the opportunities would present themselves. So it's kind of give and take, right? You put what you put in, what they're willing to open up to you. And I think been very pleased to be with Edward Jones for 25 years, had a lot of great opportunities, a lot of great mentors, right? A lot of good training, continuous learning, whether it's corporate training, whether it's external training. Being able to do that and just continue to grow your skills, I think is huge. And just all the different leaders that I've had in different organizations, they all have something that you can take from them that makes you better the next time you go to your next step. And I think that's always been that opportunity. As long as I'm willing to grow, the organization is willing to do that as long as you prepare yourself.
Love it.
It's been great.
Love it. Well, Wayne, thank you for your time today. Truly appreciate it, man.
Well, thank you very much. You guys have a good day.
Will do.
We're professionalizing the CISO role, so please subscribe to the Professional CISO Podcast.